Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. I've never made a straw-covered wreath before. I've made wreaths before, but never a straw-covered wreath. And I've never used mesh ribbon and or this thick burlap ribbon. But you know me, I'm an adventurous kind of girl, and if I'm going to do it, I might as well get the biggest wreath that Joann's had, which was stupid, but you know, again, you know me. I bought the 18-inch size because it was on sale. Couldn't pass it up. It was $2.49 minus 25%, so it was a very good deal. And it's a straw wreath that has the plastic on it. I decided, because this was my first attempt, that I wasn't going to torture you guys by making you watch me do the first round of mesh ribbon, but I overlapped a lot in this section, and I don't know if you can see the difference, because in this section you can really see, at least I can tell on camera, you can really see the straw through it, but in this section you can't. So I want to use this second round and just go over one more round around most of it. I don't have to do this section because obviously I've already done it twice. And then I'm going to start pinning in some different dimension type things. I'm using greening pins, also something I've never played with, but I've watched people do this. Okay, this is the extent of my straw wreath making knowledge. I watched a lady make one in a store once, and I've watched a couple videos. And in all those, they made it look like these were really hard to jam in at different times. So I chose to only put in 2 at the beginning and really wrap it tight, almost like a cast. And the way I did it was I held it straight up and down and kind of held it between my legs and wrapped it on an angle like between my feet. It was a lot easier than doing it on a flat surface, so I don't intend to show you that part. I'll just explain that I started by putting 2 greening pins in the back to start, my first start. I don't know where it's at. They're there on this side. They're right there. I started with those, and I just started wrapping as tightly as I could on an angle, and I overlapped about half, maybe no more than that, probably a fourth I overlapped, because I really wanted to cover as much green as I could. So let me do another round of the green, and then I'll come back and we'll give it a shot with the actual decisions on how we're going to make this cute. So I've wrapped my wreath twice in the mesh. I'm going to give you a few pointers about mesh because I never worked with it before. I don't know how many times I can say that in this video because I don't want you to go, she's an expert. I know at this point you're going, oh my god, just get on with it. Anyway, the mesh, your fingernails will rip it if you pull it too hard, with your nails through it. It's just kind of a lot more delicate than I thought it would be. So that's my warning. And make sure you're very tight as you go. If you have a spot, like I have a little lump right there, so that is the spot that I need to focus some of my extra work on. And I'm going to do some loops around the surface with this wire ribbon that's all one length, and all I'm going to do, I'm going to leave a big tail right there. Then I'm going to do kind of a loop that's not huge, but I'm going to pinch it in the middle. Again, I said this was wire ribbon, so it means it's got wire on the edge. If you don't know, some people don't know what wire ribbon is, so I'm going to tell you it's got wire on both edges. And I'm going to just jam it in that spot right there so that I have one loop in. And then I can mess with that later. I'm not going to worry about it now. And then I'm going to kind of just lay it down like that. And then make another loop like a little bit further. Trying to keep my loops roughly the same size because I think it would look better. I don't know. I hope it'll look better if I leave them the same size. I don't know if it will or not, but I wanted to have a little bit of pop of gold or some kind of color that gave it a little bit of elegance to it because otherwise it's just a wreath that looks like a cast on somebody's leg. this point. At this point, I'm a little concerned about the look of a cast. Hoping that once I add everything else to it, it looks like something that's not somebody's cast on their leg. And I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to probably do, I don't know, I'm going to kind of go across the top. It started down at the side, now I'm going to go across the top with these so that I have like kind of a, almost like a, you know, oh, you probably don't. Well, maybe you do. If you're old enough, you remember this candy when you were a kid. It was called ribbon candy, and our grandmothers always had it at their house at the holidays. It wasn't really good candy. It kind of was tasteless. It was just mostly sugar, but it was really fun because when you played with it, it would just shatter everywhere. So that's kind of the look I'm going for with this, is I'm going for ribbon candy. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think it does. If you're familiar with it. I think they still sell that. If they don't, it's a shame because it was a real treat at the holidays because it was fun to shatter. Not so much fun to eat, but really fun to shatter. Do that one. And then I think I'm going to lay one right there. And then maybe one more going down the front edge. And then I'm going to do another tail. These greening pins, all the stuff that I have here, I bought at my Joann's, and I got all my ribbon, except for this. I had this, the one I'm using right now. I got all my ribbon. It was considered Halloween ribbon, which I guess I don't understand where navy blue and green is Halloween ribbon, but it was considered Halloween ribbon, so it was 70% off, and then I think I got an additional 20% on top of that because it was after the holiday. But I liked it. I thought it was really, I don't know, kind of fun. I don't know. I liked it. That's all I'm saying. Put that right there. And then I think I'm just going to leave, I have a lot left, so I'm just going to leave that there. So in case I decide to do more with this, or if I, need to continue the ribbon pattern on, I'll be able to do it. Okay, so I'm leaving that like that. You've got the gist, right? I hope you have the gist. Then I cut a bunch of these into strips that are, I figured I would whip my ruler out while I had the chance. These are about 6.5 inches long, 6 inches to 7 inches long. One side of them has the blue, and the other side you can see the wire, so I have to make sure I put it this way when I do it. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one and I'm going to pinch it. It goes like this. I'm going to pinch it in the middle like that, and then I'm going to take one of these pins and I'm going to put the pin over that little pinched part, and then I'm going to place it like, let's say I'm going to put it, whoops, just knocked you out of the ballpark with my head. My head's probably been in every shot so far. Oops, up. And then after I told you, don't make sure you don't have that side up with the wires. Very first one, you got wires right side up. Oh, what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna try one of these and see what it looks like shoved into the ribbon, and see what I think, and see if I want to do something a little bit different. I think I'm going to put the big ones in first. Okay, the big ones are big. They are, I'm going to say 15 inches long on the longest point and about 12 inches long on the other, in the shorter point. I'm going to do the same thing. Go to the middle. I'm going to kind of make sure that my edges are down and not, they're not up, so that when I pin it down, those edges will be underneath and not sticking straight up. And I'm going to stick my first one as close to this as possible. And then I have a plan. I know it looks kind of weird right now, but my plan is that I'm going to do this and make them look like they're little, not little, they're going to look like they're big bows in among the ribbon candy. With me so far? Hope it's not horrible. I might have to do that and put some of these littler strips. I'm going to put one of these beside it and see what it looks like. So my plan is to cover up pins with other things, and at some point I'm going to have an issue, because once I stick these blue ones in, what covers up the pin on the blue one? I don't know. These are the things I never understood when I watched them on, when I watched them in the store. I never looked for that. I never said, hey, what do you do with that pin when it shows? Don't know, but I'm squeezing these because some of them are really, really wide, and that doesn't work when you're working with a thinner piece of ribbon. You don't want that. You don't want a really, really wide pinch. So I'm going to squeeze it as best I can squeeze and jam it in at the same time. Here's the plan. Squeeze and jam. Okay, and then these are wired too, so that covered up. Well, I can cover up everything, I guess, with that, huh? What do you think so far? Feel looks alright? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Ah, a little scary. I'm a little scared. Okay, so we're going to go to the middle again of one of these, and we're going to hold the sides under and just pinch, 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 pinch. If I can do this, I was thinking about this, and because most of the people that watch my channel are people who have some limitations, I thought I would tell you if I thought you could do this or not. And here's what I think. I think if you have the only use of one arm, this is going to be a difficult task, because this pinning these pins, you kind of have to hold with one hand and push with the other. So I'm not saying you couldn't do it, but it's going to be tricky. So I mean, I'm sure you've got all kinds of ways of figuring out, alternatives, because I myself have done that many times, figured out alternatives to how to make things work. But I'm kind of just giving you my take on it, because I wanted to be able to say, if I was trying this and I couldn't do certain things, how would I do it? And I don't know. But then again, we all know how to rig things for ourselves. Years ago, I didn't drive for a while because I didn't think that I was strong enough to drive. Then, well, one of the reasons that I didn't think that was because I couldn't turn the key in the ignition, and that was before they made these easy start cars, and before it wasn't so difficult to do anything with a car. Now they've really perfected making driving much easier for the person who has those kind of problems. So what I did was I used a screwdriver, and I stuck the screwdriver in the key, and I used it as a lever, and I just pulled on the screwdriver and I turned the ignition. So the reason I'm telling you this story is I know what I did to accommodate for me, so I know that you have ways to accommodate for you. And so I'm not going to tell you can't do anything, because I know if we put our minds to it, we can do anything we want to do. And I'm absolutely certain that if you want to stick these pins in here and you have limited access or no access, no use of one arm, that you'll figure it out. That's how it works. We figure it out. That was the first time, I'll never forget, I took my niece when she was, I don't know, maybe 8, maybe not even that old. I took her shopping on Thanksgiving Day, because Kmart was open on Thanksgiving Day. This was before all the stores opened. Now everybody's open on Thanksgiving. But back then, there was only one store in the world that was open, and that was Kmart. And this was in a pretty big city. So she and I were going to go shopping because the dinner was delayed. So we got in the car, and I'll never forget the look on her face when I got that screwdriver out. It was like, what are you doing with that? You're losing your mind. I thought, you poor kid. You have no idea. Your Aunt Sandy has got MacGyver tendencies. Anyway, that was a great memory for me, because she just looked horrified. She probably thought that she just got into a death trap. And if her parents knew, she probably wouldn't have wanted them to go with me, but hey, we never told. Why would we? It was a good secret. It was a good secret, and it was a good time. We had a nice day. Okay, I'm going to put What are you thinking so far? I don't think it's too bad. I mean, it's not a professional job, obviously, because I'm not a professional, but it's not as horrible as it could be. I have such high hopes for this project. Oh, jeez. Okay, let me stick this in. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'll just keep jamming these in, and then I'll come back once I've got everything in and show you what I've done. Because, I mean, obviously, you've seen the technique. You know what I'm doing, so it's not like this is going to be any big mystery. So let me finish jamming things in, and I'll be right back. Okay, I know what you're saying. You're saying to yourself, hey, wasn't that green a minute ago? Yeah, it was, but as I started doing more and more of shoving the pins in, that green looked more and more crazy, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I covered it with burlap. Burlap background, and the ribbon has a burlap feel to it, so it's all kind of works together, and then I think that little pop of gold glitter really makes a big difference on it. I really love it, and I'm happy I did it. I hope you think it looks good. I'm sorry that I don't have enough green coming out. I might have to do something where I shove some green into it somehow, but you know, because there are green checks in the ribbon. I decided at the last minute that I needed green, so I went to Joann's and I got some of the green ribbon that's exactly the same width as the blue, and it's also wire trimmed. I just wanted that little pop of color that I thought I was missing at this point, so I'm just going to jam that green in here and there. I only have cut 7 lengths of about 6 inches each. And the other thing I wanted to tell you before I forget is that when you do this, you're going to need at least, well, not at least, you'll probably need 2 packages of these greening pins if you get 50 in a package, which is what I got. So just keep that in mind, that, you know, every time you jam one of these in, it's another pin, so you're going to need more greening pins than you might have initially thought. I actually thought 50 would do it, but 50 was not in the bargain chips. It was definitely needed more. You know, once you start putting these in and around, you realize that in order to really make this full and make the colors really show up everywhere, you need a lot more than I anticipated, I guess. I really didn't think I'd need that many of these pins, but I did. And all the videos showed that, you know, people really struggled with these pins. I have not struggled with them yet. I'm not saying I won't, because I still have, you know, 4 more to do, but I didn't have any trouble with them, and I was really pleased that I didn't have any trouble shoving them in, because, as I said, I thought I would. Let me finish this up and I'll be right back. All in all, I'm really pleased with the result, and I thought it was really pretty easy. And I didn't have any problem sticking those pins in at all. I never had one that was really problematic. So all in all, I really recommend this project for you guys to give a try to, because it's simple, and if you get your ribbon inexpensively like I did, I think it's really a great gift. So I hope you'll give it a try and send me a picture of it if you do. Down below in the comment information, I always put all of my contact info and all of the different social media I'm on, which isn't much, as you know. Thanks so much for watching. Please give this a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.